think the big story in America is Big Fannie Willis going after Donald Trump. You know that our 111 people died in fires in Maui and 1,200 people are missing? You would think that would have nonstop coverage on the media. It's just like nonstop coverage, nothing else. It's interesting. It would be good for ratings. It's not as if Maui is East Palestine, Ohio. This is what's really interesting. East Palestine, Ohio, you go, oh, they don't care about that part of the country. You know, that's Trump, MAGA America. You know, those people eat at Denny's. We don't like those people. They probably own guns. Maui is different. Maui is one of the most Democrat areas in the entire country. It's a blue enclave. It's also a billionaire and millionaire playground. So you think that Maui literally being incinerated as if it's Dresden, as we covered it earlier in the week, 1,200 people still missing and over 111 people dead, on pace to become a deadlier event than the Oklahoma City bombing. You'd think that this would be a big story. Now, the left is just saying, well, it's climate change, and this is why we need to restrict carbon emissions. And then you have John Podesta lecturing us about carbon emissions. So I asked our team, I said, hey, can we just get kind of a little bit of pulse check on Maui, because we did this whole thing early in the week, which, for the record, I'll say it again, there's more to the story than what they're telling us in Maui. I don't have all the details. There is more to the story. There is something awfully suspicious going on here. From the cover-up to the lies about it to the origination of the fire, there is something that does not look or smell right. And if you have any idea of that, email me, freedom@charliekirk.com. I'd love to hear from you on what that is. So the Democrat governor, Josh Green, said after the disaster that global warming was the ultimate reason that so many people perished, because only global warming allowed for the so-called fire or hurricane that swept through the island. But that is a lie. Global warming did not cause the fire. It's the old Office clip. Ryan started the fire. Local incompetence and left-wing ideology did. But the New York Times won't tell you that. The media won't tell you that. The reason why they are not deploying reporters to Maui is because they're afraid they might actually find the truth. The reason why we don't have nonstop panoramic camera coverage of like the Wait 20-something info babe on MSNBC, we don't have like nonstop coverage of, yes, Brian, we're here and the devastation is just beyond belief, is because they actually might accidentally stumble into the truth. Now, there's some passive news coverage of it, but I was watching the Mockingbird networks this morning. There is far more coverage of Big Fannie Willis and Donald Trump than there is in Maui. Far more. In fact, CNN.com, purported names, photos of Georgia grand jurors shared online. It's all about Georgia, all about Georgia, all about Georgia. Will Cain was the only major news network on the ground. It just strikes me so strange, because usually you have, you know, the kind of super left-wing journalism student from Columbia Journalism who doesn't have an original thought in her head go on TV and she says, yes, I mean, interviewing locals. Remember Katrina? Where is that? The great Rush Limbaugh, may he rest in peace, was a teacher. And Rush taught me this, and he taught you this. When the media doesn't cover something, that is far more important than when they do cover something. I wouldn't say they're covering it up. It's like they're just kind of coasting. And these press conferences are, it's incoherent psychobabble. Oh, we don't regret not activating the siren and the alarm. The FEMA administrator is totally on an island. Get it? And then there's this whole question of the water. 111 people are dead. And 1,200 people are missing. Are they slow dripping the death toll so that Biden can't be blamed? And I know Biden did like a press release or whatever Remember Katrina? Katrina, when George W. Bush was president, we made it feel as if it was Pompeii, the biggest thing. And by the way, it was mishandled by the Bush administration. This could almost be as deadly as Katrina when all is said and done. So let's play some pieces of tape here, just kind of walk through it, because my suspicious meter is 10 out of 10 right now. Doesn't look right, doesn't smell right, doesn't feel right. Play cut 82. Maui chief doesn't regret not activating sirens during a wildfire. I know it's a double negative, but it'll make sense. Play cut 82.
Do you regret not sounding the sirens?
I do not.
So many people said they could have been saved if they had time to escape.
Had we sounded the siren that night, we're afraid that people would have gone Malka. And if that was the case, then they would have gone into the fire. And so that is the reason why our protocol has been to use WEA and EAS. By the way, I should also note that there are no sirens Malka or on the mountainside where the fire was spreading down.
And now this is Kaleo Manuel, the Hawaiian water official who refused to release water resources and let landowners fight the Maui fire. This is his philosophy about water. Before I play this, I have come under, let's just say, a fair amount of attack from Media Matters and even some Christian pastors, because I say that liberals are earth worshipers. They're pagans. Oh, you can't say that. They don't worship the earth. No, they believe in magical elements. That they worship the sun, the moon, the sky, the water. Don't believe me? Play cut 80.
The commission is responsible per our authorizing statute to protect and manage all water resources in the state. One Water is like taking it and looking at it from a holistic system perspective. You know, and in essence, we treated it, and Native Hawaiians treated water as one of the earthly manifestations of a god and a kua kane. We've become used to looking at water as like something which we use and not necessarily something that we revere as that thing that gives us life, right? I mean, to me, it's a shift in value set. So really my motto is always like, let water connect us and not divide us. Like we can share it, but it requires true conversations about equity.
True conversations about equity. So they didn't turn the water on. Things burned. This is the guy who told landowners they couldn't use water to fight the fires while the fires were still small. Is it because he believed that water was sacred and we must worship the water? Or is it because of equity? Was it because there were certain people's homes burning that he wanted them to burn? They believe in pagan Hawaiian culture, we must worship water, not life. Wokeism is just a return of an old god. The Bible was written as a refutation. It was obsessed with challenging this idea, specifically of Egypt. This is no different. They believe the Nile was holy. And they believe water is so holy you can't use it to fight a fire. That's what he's implying here. Well, that same guy did not allow the release of the water. This is the one thing that is coming clear in Maui. And the media couldn't care less. Because I think they're afraid of what they'll find. That this is not climate change, not global warming, not carbon emissions. This is left-wing ideologues that allowed the island to burn. That there is blood on the hands of the water worshipers. Christianity broke us free of pagan slavery. So did the Hebrew Bible, by the way. It challenged this idea of worshiping the earth, that God is not in nature, that God created nature. Could it be that Maui did not have to burn if they didn't believe such wacky, goofy, pagan stuff?